Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be ranking every single Lamborghini in Gran Turismo 7. Let's get into the video. Okay, so we're going to have to start off with the old Lamborghini Countach, as I do not have access to the newer. So this is one of two Countachs in GT7, this one being the older 1974 version. And it's purchasable from the legendary dealership for 1,250,000 credits, which is quite a lot, but in comparison to some other classic cars, it's not that bad. Now, it can reach nearly 190 miles an hour, which is significantly faster than its main competitors, those being the Lancia Stratos and the Ferrari 308 GTB, just to name a few. However, its handling is terrible. This is likely due to it only coming with comfort tyres. It is a good car for the collection, but it isn't very useful, so I wouldn't really recommend buying it. Okay, so the next car is the new Lamborghini Countach from 1988. Now, this car actually surprised me. So my first impression of this car was going to be that since it was 14 years younger than the 1974 model, it was going to be a lot better. But I was wrong. While it does handle a lot better than the older model, even though they're on the same comfort tyres, its speed is very disappointing. It tops out at just 188 miles per hour, while the other and less powerful model will go all the way to 190 miles an hour. Now, the reason for this is likely due to its dreadful drag coefficiency. The price is quite good though, at just under 700,000 credits, making it a lot cheaper than the older one. But is it worth it when it gets destroyed by the 959 and the F40, and even gets overtaken by its older brother with almost 100 horsepower less? I'll let you decide. For that reason, it's in the C tier. So the next car we're going to be talking about is the Lamborghini Diablo from 2000. Now, this is the only Diablo that features in GT7, which is quite disappointing, but the car itself is very average. It is quite fast, but nothing too special, and its price is around 800,000 credits, which is average for supercars in the early 2000s. But unfortunately, when compared to some of the other cars at the time, the McLaren F1, Ferrari Enzo, Porsche Carrera, that kind of thing, it simply just doesn't perform well. The relatively cheap price is the only redeeming factor. It tops out at 195 miles an hour without mods, whereas cars from even 15 years before, like the Ferrari F40, can easily go past that. The sound is also quite disappointing, and to be honest, I recommend that you would save your money and purchase the next cars instead. Okay, so the next car we're going to talk about is the Lamborghini Murcielago from 2009. So before we get started with this car, I will say this is probably my favourite Lamborghini that you can purchase in Gran Turismo 7. It ticks every box. For example, despite only being 9 years older or younger than the Diablo, its top speed has been increased by over 20 miles an hour. It has also gained a four-wheel drive system. Yes, I know the Diablo also had it, but it's not in the model that is currently in the game. The price has gone down a lot too. It's just under 400,000 credits, which is half of that of the Diablo. Due to it being more modern, it is a lot more usable than Diablo, tuning it to nearly 900 horsepower while still being naturally aspirated. Then we come to the best thing about this car, the sound. Listen to this. There are only two small drawbacks I can think of with this car. The first being the brakes. They are a little bit weak as standard, but some sort of brakes or racing brakes should easily fix this problem. The second one is that the car is slightly overshadowed by the Aventador. However, I know which one I would rather have, and for that reason this car is in the S tier. Okay, so the next car we're going to be talking about is the original Lamborghini Aventador from 2011. Now, being in between the Murcielago and the newer Aventador meant that this car has never really gotten my attention, but for the purpose of this video I will still review it. So this car is slightly better than the Murcielago in some ways, but not in others, and on paper this car is slightly faster than the Murcielago, being faster to the 0-60 and having a better top speed of 217 miles per hour compared to the Murcielago's 230 miles per hour. Now, it's a very unique car, being ahead of the later 2000s cars such as the Murcielago and Ferrari's 458 Italia, but it gets completely overshadowed by three hypercars from just a couple of years later, those being the LaFerrari, the McLaren P1 and the Porsche 918 Spider, and the Pagani Hyra to an extent. Because of this, it is hard to compare these car's performance, but one thing is for sure, it's not as good around the track. Now, like most Lamborghinis, it does suffer from bad understeer, but this car in particular is very bad for it. But the price is reasonable at 400,000 credits, and because it is newer, you don't have to rely on luck for it to arrive. You can purchase it straight from the brand dealership. Now, due to a completely revised engine, it does sound a lot different to the Murcielago, so let me know which one you prefer in the comments. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the Aventador's baby brother, the Lamborghini Huracan. Now, having downsized to a V10, it was inevitable that this car would be slower than the Aventador. However, it is still a lot faster than I thought. 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds and at 205 miles per hour top speed is certainly not slow. And I would say that it is the best Lamborghini to drive due to the absence of Lamborghini understeer. Now, as you can see in the video, despite only having 600 horsepower, I can keep up with the best supercars out there, like the Lamborghini Vulcan. And it is also very cheap at 300,000 credits, and I advise beginners to try this car as it is very easy to handle. It does also sound very nice too. Now, because of all these factors, I would personally put it in the S tier, and I would recommend it to any person. Okay, so we're now moving on to the newer Lamborghini Aventador. Now, this car's at the top of the food chain when it comes to Lamborghini supercars. Well, besides the Menino, but I can't get that one yet due to the implementation. Now, it is an upgrade from the old Aventador, gaining an extra 40 horsepower, and it does have a higher top speed. Unfortunately, it does suffer with quite bad understeer due to its heavy weight and only having sport tyres. However, this can easily be changed with some weight reduction and some racing hard tyres, and we bought for the price of 500,000 credits. Because of all of this, I would put it in the S tier. Okay, so first up down in the C tier would be what I consider to be the worst car that Lamborghini has made in Gran Turismo 7, that being the Lamborghini Vision GT. Now, if I could sum up this car in one word, it would be disappointing. It's by far the worst Lamborghini I have driven in terms of handling. Now, when the throttle is applied, it understeers severely, causing you to have to release the throttle again, like you will see in the video, which makes driving a painful experience. Now, it does handle quite well at low speeds, but that type of situation rarely occurs on a fast-paced racetrack. It does actually have pretty good acceleration due to sharing an engine with the Aventador. However, due to all these aerodynamics, its top speed is very disappointing at just 225 miles an hour, which is very slow when compared to other Vision GTs and even other Lamborghini models available. Now, another factor for the car being in C tier is the price of 1 million credits. Now, I understand all Vision GTs cost this much, but it does seem very overpriced for what you're getting. Please do not buy this car. Buy some other Vision GT like the Tomahawk or the Bugatti Chiron GT for the exact same price, which are a lot faster, more usable and handle a lot better. For this reason, this car is down in C tier. Okay, so the next car in the A tier will be the Lamborghini Huracan Group 4. Now, I don't play much online, so for this one I'm going to have to include other people's opinions as well as my own. Now, from the looks of it, this is one of the better Group 4s in the game with a very good speed and decent fuel economy. But from personal experience, it can have oversteer going into corners and it can have understeer when exiting them. Now, this can make it very difficult to control for newer players. Now, for this reason, I would recommend that you do not use this car if you are new to the game, and I recommend you use a different Group 4 car. Now, because of the factors I mentioned above, but the fact is quite difficult to control. I would personally put it in the A2. Okay, so the final car in the A2 is going to be the Lamborghini Huracan Group 3. Now, this car is very similar to the Group 4 in the way that it handles, that being oversteer when going into the corners and a bit of understeer going out of the corners. However, it is slightly better than the Group 4 when compared to its rivals. This is due to being one of the most fuel-efficient Group 3 cars, whereas the Huracan Group 4 is very average when it comes to fuel. Now, it is also very fast when compared to its rivals, being one of the fastest Group 3 cars when balance performance is not applied. And for this reason, I would put it in the A2.